If rent is eating your paycheck alive, this one's for you. Let's be real. It feels like rent is turning into a second tax. You get paid, and before you can blink, half is gone. For a lot of people, especially Gen Z and millennials, rent is the biggest expense. But how much is too much? Is there a magic number? Or are we all just stuck watching our money vanish every month? Spoiler, the old 30% rule. Yeah, that came from an economy that doesn't exist anymore. Young renters are dropping 35% to 50% of their income on rent. Way past that old 30% rule they told us in school. The dream of saving money, having fun, and surviving. Yeah, kind of fading fast. Especially when $2,000 gets you a sunless shoebox with a neighbor who thinks 3 a.m. is drum practice time. But we're not here to cry about it. Let's break down the numbers, see what's really possible, and figure out how to make rent work for you, not against you. The 30% rule. Let's start with the rule we've all heard forever. Spend no more than 30% of your take-home pay on rent. In theory, that's meant to leave enough for food, transport, savings, and maybe the odd latte. So if you're taking home $2,000 a month, your rent should be under $600 a month. Sounds good, but when was the last time you saw rent that low, especially in a city? Sure, the 30% rule gives you a target and encourages discipline. But here's the thing. It was created decades ago when housing was cheaper, wages were climbing, and Avo toast wasn't $15. In today's market for most of us, the rule feels seriously out of touch. Truth is, staying under 30% is near impossible unless you live out of the city, have flatmates, or earn well above average. If you're paying 35%, 40%, or even 50%, it doesn't mean you're bad with money. It means the system hasn't kept up. Still, knowing the rule helps you gauge where you're at and what moves you might want to make next. Real-life examples. Let's make it real. Imagine you earn $2,000 a month. Under the 30% rule, your rent should be around $600. But good luck finding anything decent at that price, unless you're living with roommates or far outside the city. Now, say you pay $1,200 in rent. That's 60% of your income gone. So what does that mean for your budget? It means the rest of your money, $800, has to cover food, transportation, phone bills, student loans, any type of emergency, and hopefully some fun too. It's tight, like skip meals and cancel subscriptions, tight. Now let's say you cut your rent down to $800 by getting a roommate. That's an instant $400 saved every month, $4,800 a year. Suddenly you can afford to build an emergency fund, invest a little, or finally stop ghosting your friends every time they suggest brunch. It doesn't mean you have to live in a shoebox forever. It just shows how much of a difference rent can make in your overall financial life. Here's a quick breakdown. $2,000 income, $1,200 rent, 60%, $800 left for everything else. $2,000 income, $800 rent, 40%, $1,200 left, $2,000 income, $600 rent, 30%, $1,400 left. The difference between each scenario might not look huge on paper, but over time it's massive. That's why smart budgeting starts with rent, because it sets the tone for everything else. If it's too high, you're playing catch-up every month. But if you manage to bring it down even a little, you create breathing room. Modern adjustments. Now let's be honest, for a lot of people, that 30% rule is pure fantasy. Cities with booming populations don't offer many options at that price point. So what do? First, recognize that flexibility is key. The 30% rule might not work for your city, but that doesn't mean you can't still thrive. Here are a few modern ways to fight back. Negotiate your rent. Yes, it's possible, especially if you're a good tenant. Your lease is up for renewal, or similar units in your building are going for less. Be polite, bring receipts, and ask. The worst they can say is no. Split the costs. Roommates are still the MVPs of rent survival. But even if you don't want to share your space, Consider splitting other costs like internet, utilities, and streaming services. It all adds up. Look for discounts. Some landlords offer a small discount if you pay rent early or sign a longer lease. Others will let you skip the deposit or reduce fees if you have a strong rental history or good credit. Budget tools. Use apps like Mint, YNAB, you need a budget, or even Google Sheets to track how much of your income goes toward rent and related housing costs. Sometimes just seeing the numbers clearly makes a huge difference. Alternative housing. Consider co-living spaces, subleases, or even renting out a room in your current space to someone else. It might not be forever, but it could give you the financial reset you need. The point here isn't to shame anyone who's spending more than 30%. It's to say, there are still ways to take control and make it work, but you have to get creative. Final advice and call to action. Here's the big takeaway. Make rent fit your life, not the other way around. Don't let your rent dictate how much you can eat, save, or enjoy your life. Yes, you need a roof over your head, but you also deserve peace of mind, freedom, and a little fun now and then. And look, some of these choices aren't easy. Downsizing, moving to a less trendy neighborhood, or getting a roommate when you'd rather live solo. Those decisions come with trade-offs, but they also come with opportunity. Every dollar you save on rent is a dollar you can invest in your future. So ask yourself, how much of your income goes to rent? Is it helping you build the life you want or holding you back? If this helped you even 1%, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and share your rent story in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because rent shouldn't eat your life, and with a few smart moves, it won't have to.